Hey guys, glad you stopped by. Tonight, thought we'd do some cooking. As always, since you're here, why not, give me a hand. You could even stay for supper if you'd like. That would be awesome. But tonight, we're gonna do a chicken chili in a skillet with a biscuit, a cheddar and jalapeno biscuit on top. It's a fairly quick dish. Doesn't take any time to work. I think we're gonna honestly spend more time with it in the oven than we are actually making it. But I don't know because, as always, it's a dish I've never made before. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is your first video. Hope you get something out of this video. Maybe check out some of my other videos. And much like if you're returning, I hope you consider subscribing. We are growing in leaps and bounds. To people who have just recently subscribed, which has been a lot lately, to my surprise, and I think that's awesome. I am humbled by it. Welcome back, and thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. As always, that helps get us out in the algorithm, helps us grow, and become a better community through food and being a good neighbor. Inviting somebody over for supper, like you guys come over and visit with me, and we make supper together and enjoy a meal. It also promotes eating together as a family, or with friends, or a significant other, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it takes. But it gives you time to communicate over a good meal at any rate, and that's important. Communicating with your family and being a family unit, or communicating with your friends, staying in touch, that's all important. It keeps you grounded, keeps you, being awesome, basically. So anyhow, chicken chili with a jalapeno cheddar biscuit on top of it. I think we're gonna love this one skillet meal. And yeah, that's it. You can leave me a comment down below if you've tried this, have something similar, or just want to say hi, for that matter. That's awesome. Or you can hop over to Facebook and check out our Facebook group, Mr. Smith's Kitchen Facebook group, where we leave recipes, talk, have fun, share stories as long as they're in good taste. And with comments, much like on Facebook, it's okay to disagree with something. Just be considerate in your disagreement. Think before you type, basically. So anyhow, let's jump down to this counter and see what we can't get into with this meal. Hold on for me just 1 second. All right, we are down here at the countertop. As always, I have my recipe written down here, and I always write it in pencil. I write it in a notebook, and if I like it, or we like it, and we don't want to change anything, we keep it as is. If we want to modify it a little, we can modify it. I can just erase and rewrite. Or if we don't like it at all, we can just tear it out and throw it out. Now, some of you who've been around for a minute may notice that is a new notebook. I actually filled up my 5-subject notebook. It only took me about a year, but I have 2 of them running, one for just baking, one for cooking, and we finally got the cooking one done. So, that being said, I've got my oven preheating to 425 degrees. That's one of the first things we want to do. I have got a cast iron skillet down here. Now, you don't have to use a cast iron skillet. You can use whatever skillet you have available, but it has to be oven safe. If it's not, you could use a 9x13 casserole dish, but tonight we're doing this in cast iron. That's how the recipe went, and or a non-stick oven safe skillet of your choice. So now that I've got that warming up, first thing I want to do is I'm going to take a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there and get it warmed up with it. And I've got this bad boy almost on medium high. We're going to turn it up a little bit. Now with cast iron, you have to let it warm up first. While that's warming up and we want the oil to be shimmering, and smoking a little, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I have 1 pound of ground chicken right here. I'm going to add that salt to it. You can grind your own chicken up if you have the ability to do so, or you can buy it at pretty much any grocery store. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper to that. And then we'll go ahead and give that a quick mix. So it looks like we are shimmering already. So what I want to do is I'm going to take my chicken and we're going to put that in our cast iron here, and we're going to cook it until it's browned. and cooked all the way through and crumbled. Okay, so we've got our ground chicken, which you can also use beef in this. You could use turkey, you know, whatever your protein of choice is, you can. But we've got our turkey crumbled, starting to brown, and I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm gonna bring it in a little bit. Wow. But if you can see it, you see that it's, you know, kind of, there's some bits on the bottom of the pan, and you know what, that's okay, because now we're about to add some liquids that'll loosen that up. So the first thing we're going to use is 1 1/4 cups of water, which you could also use chicken stock. I wish I'd have thought about that beforehand. We're going to add 1 package of white chicken chili mix, seasoning pack to this, and it's a 1 1/4 pack. We're going to give that a good stir around, and that'll loosen up that the bits on the bottom, which will add flavor to it, right? And then we'll go ahead and we're gonna add 1 medium-sized onion. Now the original recipe called for 1 1/4 cup of green onion, thinly sliced, but oddly enough, there were no green onions out at the grocery store, which I found really weird. And then we're gonna add, so I just substituted it for 1 onion, and then I've got a handful of green onions growing out in the garden, which I can run out and clip a couple because I want the green part to garnish it with on the top, or we may use something different. I don't know yet. So the next thing I'm gonna add is 1 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes, and I'm not draining those. And we'll go ahead and get that stirred in. Oh, it smells heavenly. And then we are going to add 1 small bag, 10-ounce bag, 12-ounce bag, depending on who you shop with, of corn, frozen corn. And we're going to add 1 small 15-ounce can of pinto beans, and those have been drained and rinsed. That way we can, we don't have all the packing juice in them to hit the flavor. Now, an alternative to that, I actually have, and could have used, I have white chili beans downstairs, and I could have just as easily used those, but this recipe called for a can of pinto, and I wanted to try it as close to the recipe as possible. I think the only thing I've really altered has been the, the onion, and I'm okay with that. But you use what works for you. If you don't like pinto beans, there's another bean. You don't like beans at all, you can leave them out. Okay, so we got that all mixed together. What we're going to do is bring this to a simmer, and as soon as it comes to a simmer, we can move on to the next step. Okay, so we have come to a simmer. All we got to do now is shut off our stovetop. We're going to move that to the side just for a second. So now in my medium-sized bowl here, I have 1 package of biscuit mix, something that I don't have to fuss with. Now if you have the time, you want to make your own biscuits, awesome, but this is a quicker weeknight meal, so I bought a package of biscuits I can make myself, and all I have to add to this is a 1/2 cup of milk, and then mix it until it becomes a dough. Alright, we got that all mixed together, and we got a nice sticky dough going. So now we're going to add 1 cup of cheddar cheese, and I'll make that as liberal as I like. And I've got 1 minced, finely diced jalapeno, and with the jalapeno I just simply took out the stem, seeds, the ribs, all that, so that way I just have the flavor and not so much the heat. Now if you want to leave that heat in there, you can just simply leave the ribs and some of the seeds. I don't know if I'd leave the seeds in there, just because of the texture thing. You don't want to bite into seeds, but you can, and that'll give you a little more heat. The more you leave in there, the more heat you'll have. So we'll get this mixed up real good. Alright, we got that mixed together real good. So now I've just simply got a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and we're going to take the quarter cup measuring cup. Fill that up, and we're just going to dollop this on top of our chicken chili. Just like such. I'll tell you, if nothing else, it smells good and it is definitely colorful. So, and that's two good things right there, right? So we'll go ahead and get all these on here, and then we can talk about what to do in the oven. Okay, so we've got our dumplings on there, our biscuits on there, dumplings. And there we are, that's what we're looking like. So now, like I said a minute ago, we've got our oven preheated at 425. All we're going to do is stick this in the oven on the middle rack, and we're going to bake this for about 20 minutes. What we're looking for is for those biscuits to poof up and get a nice, start to get that nice golden brown biscuit look. So when I come back, we'll have one more step to do before, actually two with the cool down, and then we'll be able to try some. All right, hold on for me just 1 second. Okay, the timer just went off, and so we'll go ahead and get this out of the oven. Ooh, that's hot. Oh, and let me bring you in here so you can see what we got going on. There we go. All right. Whoa. Better stop moving there. All right, really, someday I'm gonna get a good cameraman. All right, so we've got our biscuits are a nice golden brown on top, and it actually only took 15 minutes, not 20, which the recipe said 15-20 minutes. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take that remaining half a cup of the cup and a half of cheddar we had, or however much cheddar you like, and I'm going to sprinkle that on the top, just like such. I was thinking I could have used white cheddar on this, or, I mean, if you don't like cheddar, you can use whatever cheese you like. Colby Jack, I like Colby Jack, Monterey Jack, pepper jack, white cheese, yellow cheese, purple cheese, whatever you like. So we got that back on there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this back in the oven for about another 5 minutes and let the cheese melt. So we're just looking to melt that cheese. We don't have to make it golden brown or anything like that. We're just looking to melt it. And then after that, I'm going to take it out of the oven. I'm going to set it right here on this pad, and I'm going to let it cool down for about 5 minutes or so. That way it doesn't melt our face, right? Because if we were to try to eat this right when it came out of the oven, it would melt our face, just straight off. We'd have no face left, no mouth left, no tongue left, no taste buds at any rate, and we don't want that, right? So when I come back, it will have cooled. We'll take a look at it, serve some up, and give it a try. All right, hold on for me just one moment. All right, we have let it cool a little, settle down. It's not bubble along the edges anymore, so it's still hot, don't get me wrong, but not nearly as hot as it was. But there, my friends and neighbors, is our finished product, and that looks just outstanding. And I think we were really only 30 minutes start to finish. So I said earlier that I could go out and cut some the tops of my green onions off, but it is pitch black outside, and it is where the green onions are, so I'm not even going to try it. But what I do have is some cilantro that's been chopped up that I keep in the fridge in a jar. Now, believe it or not, this cilantro is like a week old, so it, maybe a week and a half old, and it's still fresh because I put it in a jar and kept it in the fridge. So if you want to keep your cilantro fresh when you buy it from the store, there's a way you can do it. All right, so we got a little cilantro on there. Got our bowl. Get our handy dandy spoon out. This spoon we got, for all the spoons we have and ladles, this is probably the best one of the bunch, hands down. So we're gonna get some chili in there along with a biscuit. I'm gonna grab a half a biscuit because I can, to put on top of the other biscuit. And then I'm gonna grab a little more cilantro just to throw that on the top to make it look good. Well, I mean, to make it look pretty. I think color is just so much when it comes to eating. You know, along with taste, texture, all that stuff kind of plays a factor in it. But there we are. There is our dish. And you could top this. I mean, you could go even further, do some fresh jalapenos on it. You know, some sour cream. I'm sure Chris will be putting some sour cream on hers. You know, because she likes that sort of stuff. And I like sour cream too. I just don't. I'm kind of weird like that. I don't like to top my stuff with sour cream because I honestly feel that sour cream takes away from some of the flavor of the dish. It tones it down and mellows it out, and I'm just not a huge fan of that. And that bowl is really, really hot, so I will use my handy dandy oven mitt to take a thing of it. So I don't put sour cream on mine, but I'm sure she will. But anyhow, let's give this a try and see where we're at with our chicken chili and cheddar jalapeno biscuits. Oh yeah. That's good. I'm really, the chicken chili is good. Of course, it'll depend on, you know, whose spice pack you use as to what flavor you'll have. But use whatever white chicken chili seasoning mix you like. I picked up McCormick because we were out of ours. We do make our own chicken chili seasoning. I do it for the white chili beans that we use. I think the pinto beans are just fine in this. You could easily substitute that can of pinto beans with a can of chili beans. I would recommend a white chili bean, or if you can find them in your grocery store, we're kind of hit and miss in our grocery stores. Ranch beans off the hook, that would be good in this also. Yeah, there's a million and one options for this recipe. You could even, if you know how to make Cheddar Bay biscuits, you could do those, or you could just buy a box of like the Cheddar Bay biscuits. That would be good on top of this. And then you can just put jalapenos in the chili itself. Like I said, a million different ways to make this, I think. But this way is a good way. It's quick, less than 30 minutes. Packed full of flavor. Yeah. Hands down, give this a try. That is an awesome quick weeknight recipe. So let me know if you do give this a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed by any means. By any means. If you don't like jalapenos, you can do a different hot pepper in that. If a jalapeno would be too hot for you, but that's not spicy hot. You really get that jalapeno flavor in there. But if you do try this, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Like I said, you can find us on Facebook. Leave a comment there. I'm not quite on there as often as I should be, but I do get on there every once in a while. Chris is on there all the time checking stuff. So, you know, that way we'll know, you know, if you're on there or not. You leave a comment, or if you tried this or you have a different version of it, that would be awesome. That being said, if there is something you'd like to see me try on the channel, whether it be a dinner, or a side dish, or a baked good, let me know. You know, that's where the Dixie pie we did a while back came from. You know, one of our neighbors here on the channel said, hey, you should try Dixie pie. They're amazing, and they are amazing. You should give that a shot. Tomorrow, I'm not real sure what we're doing for dessert yet. I have a list of about 5 things I'd like to try, ranging from simple to complex. More likely maybe a cupcake, but there's a couple pies I want to try. There's a cheesecake I'm dying to try. But I know we've been doing a lot of cheesecakes lately. There's also just a couple regular cakes I'd like to try. So anyhow, till tomorrow for dessert, I love you. I love you very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, and I never take for granted the time you spend with me. That's time that you'll never get back, and I couldn't be more grateful. Tell somebody else you love them, and that you love them very much. they may need to hear it, especially nowadays. You know, it's going to make them feel better. It's going to make you feel better to tell them. And if you make them some of this chicken chili with the jalapeno and cheddar biscuits on top, they're going to taste the love in every bite, and it's going to lead to an evening of conversation. I guarantee it. So until tomorrow for dessert, I love you, and I'll see you then. Talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.